What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to part 2 of the overview of Bank HQ's level in Tom Clancy's The Division 2. Taking my time from the perspective of someone who's been learning game development for the last few years to talk a little bit about some things that I like about The Division and The Division 2. And we're doing level analysis. This is basically watching how the gameplay levels tell a story that the game is basically trying to convey. The Division 2 is a very interesting, rich game. The story, the way the lore works, and a whole lot of things are telling the player all kinds of things. I made a part 1 of this video. If you've not seen it, please take some time to go ahead and track it down. I will leave it for you guys here in the description, as well as somewhere in the cards, just so that you have access to it. Now, here's the crazy thing about this Bank HQ mission. We're going to do some speed running. We're going to basically run and, run through some of the areas that I really do appreciate here. And I wanted to go ahead and talk about it because this bank mission is one of those levels that is pretty much set in a really high-end bank. And so what's basically gone on here is the developers have successfully juxtaposed the post-pandemic depreciation or diminishing of society with the high-end aspect of civilization that existed before the green poison made its way out into the world. And DC and New York are the two cities we've seen the representations, and it's been really cool. Another really cool thing that I really do like about Bank HQ is the way the developers have actually set up the combat arena. Now, The Division is a cover-based shooter. It's in the core of The Division's mechanics is actually cover play. This is where the player can have the opportunity to basically deal damage from cover, do all kinds of things within the game world, and continue to basically deal with enemy NPCs in all kinds of fun ways. They provide you something of a challenge in a sense. This is the low ground, high ground style thing that you see in many video games. The Division 2 is very masterful at putting the player at a disadvantage whenever it wants to. Now, keep in mind, this is one of those levels that comes eventually later down the road. Whoa, somebody hit me with a grenade. And this particular aspect in terms of the conversation shows the player, in a place where they are just going to have to fight their way up in a sense. Like, I'm going to be getting hammered more and more. The enemy NPCs are going to be giving me more and more challenges. And also keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this is on normal mode, basically story mode. And so it's not, it's not going to be difficult. However, from the way the level is actually set up, you will see elements where it's like, okay, I walk in here, but I have possible options. So it also gives you a way to strategize as the player. So you have 3 different ways you can approach, right? And this is something that the level designers and something that the gameplay designers think of when they walk into a place like this. They design your encounter and give the player a little bit of, some options to be able to have agency. Now, I've never really seen anybody go to the top right corner here, which is weird. How many of you, okay, let's do a survey. If you've been playing Bank HQ, or if you've played it more recently, or if you can recall how the gameplay has gone, even matchmaking with other groups, how many of you have actually decided that this is going to be the best route of approach for you when it comes to taking on the enemy NPCs? Very few times have I actually gone up this way to actually post up and deal with enemy NPCs. Maybe you want to get a direct line of sight. You can do that. And you can also go upstairs, even from here as well, too. You just climb this little place that's actually populated by flora, and you'll be up there in no time. And you can basically use, like, say, some kind of a flanking as well. And you can pretty much get that capability in this particular level. So it's very interesting to see it from a design perspective, how this all goes into place. And for me, more than anything, ladies and gentlemen, the reason I'm having fun with this is because this is a learning experience. Level design is a part of the development that I envy so much. Building mechanics and all that is cool. It's fun. You can go on YouTube and learn stuff in Unreal Engine, learn how to create a shooter, aim down sights and shooting and making the bullets hit the opponent and all that, or combat, fighting, melee, all that stuff. But level design is something that is application based. It brings you down to the gameplay design where it's like, now you got to show what you have, and now you got to consider the player on a whole different dimension. How is the player going to approach this? How do you want the player to see the threats? Like, look at this. This is a shooter, right? A lot of things are all line of sight based. Look at that. it's already showing you the AI indicators like, oh, there are enemy NPCs there. There's one that's an elite. So no, there's one that's a veteran. There's one that's basically normal. And so you as the player, you have options to be able to approach this combat the way you want. So for those of us like, chem launcher people, I can basically start doing work before I get in there, and I can make sure everybody is, sliced bread before I get, into the, I missed through that grenade. Oops. Let's see if I can get a shot at these guys. Yeah, there we go. Now we're talking. Pass that on for me. Thank you. You're going to die. You are going to die. Yeah, now the guy is basically on fire. So again, it's something that I really do, I really do like. And then another thing that I want to talk about, I was going to make a whole different video for this, but, I think it's appropriate to do it now. The Division spawn points are designed to train the player to get to maximum efficiency. What I mean by that is, as you're playing the missions, right? And because this game is designed for you to, to play over and over and over again, the emphasis is set on areas where enemies are going to spawn from. If you notice, the lighting here kind of clues you into where enemies will possibly go into. Your brain is going to be focusing on this direction right here. You will hardly look this way. There's not even much for you to do this way, unless, of course, you want to leverage the cover. But again, the way the lighting is actually set up, it's saying, look this way, look this way, look this way, which in consequence, basically, your spawn points for your enemies are more than likely going to be somewhere here. Because of the repetitive nature of the game, we play for loot. We play the same missions for loot, for accomplishing things like maybe doing, invaded missions or whatever it is. And so the developers kind of also train you to know where these spawn points are to give you the incentive to come back later, because now you know where enemies are going to spawn from. It's almost natural. And in a sense, it's based on this huge bank of muscle memory that you build over the time playing the different levels and playing the different missions in the different levels. You know where to go, you know what to do, you know where stuff's hidden. But initially you would have done some exploration. It's not without the variety that you would love. You can go in and explore. You can you'll find locked doors. Maybe you're looking for loot, maybe you're looking for resources. These doors will have things behind them that you can do as a side activity, but then you get to a point where you never want to touch these doors anymore. Why? Because you have the best gear, the best loot, but you're trying to accomplish something else, possibly say a season event and so on and so forth. These levels have basically subconsciously trained you to know exactly how you need to go and where you need to run to. Like now, I know that there are some enemies that are going to basically spawn from here once I actually make my way into this door over here. So you see, they've already spawned, and I'm going to basically just, I can ambush them or I can do something interesting. Yep, thank you so much for that. He's going to basically send all that, and then they're all ambushed and all dead. Who else is coming? Yep. So basically, it's just something that I already know, and it's something that I pretty much respond and react to as I keep playing the game. What else is here? Okay. So let me basically show you that in just in effect a little bit, and we're going to reach pretty much what I think is a really significant area, and we're going to, we can burn our way through here. Now, this is a really cool area in Bank HQ mission. It's one of those missions that says, there's trouble ahead, right? And you learn that with the Division, hallways everywhere. There's trouble ahead. There are many, many missions that have these, tight corridors that are trying to tell you something, that are trying to say to you, hey, man, look out. And, as a Division player, you're also trained to also beware, because enemies can jump you from anywhere. And this becomes really cool. When you play this area in Invaded, it really does it really changes the game overall and the way things kind of work. Is it this area in this mission? Hold on. I think in Invaded, this is opened up. And you have the different enemy NPCs that have the warhounds. They can come around, and there's a different room there, which is just a slight modification of the level. So it's actually pretty cool that, this is set up this way. But when you're playing Invaded, you're I need to watch my, I got to watch my 12, and I got to watch my, this is 3, right? Yeah, this is 3. I got to watch my 12, and I got to watch my 3, because enemies can basically jump me from, any of those different spots. And if I said it wrong, and those of you that are military and spec ops guys, forgive me. I mean, what do I know? And so you get to this area here, which is this huge vault where they're storing cash. And it's basically oh, this is one of those bank branches, an HQ branch. Now this is where HQ comes into HQ, right? And then you come into this area, which is just insane how big this vault is. And has basically been co-opted by enemies, storing their stuff in here. You can tell the hyenas are here. We've been seeing their logos all this while, by the way. I never mentioned anything about that. Those are logo indicators for factions. But hyenas basically show, you see this little green thing that says, oh, these guys are doing something that they're not supposed to be doing. They're basically, engaging in treatments of the chemical nature that they probably should not be engaging in. And then spawn points. See it? I'm just going to sit here and I'm just going to pretty much go ahead and exploit them. Because, again, that's exactly what I think the developers are okay with you doing. They're okay with you getting to the point where, you can just pretty much use these to your advantage. And at any rate, get to a point where, at the point of where you're basically, playing the game and getting better and doing more in terms of, you as the player. Let me see. This person is I'm trying to get flanked now. AI behavior. That's also another really cool thing with Division. Oh, look, I just got flanked. This NPC is going to come bother me. Okay, hold on. Why don't you hold some of these bullets? And ma'am, why don't you hold some of that? There we go. Thank you. Are there more coming? See, there are no more coming. And oh, there are more coming. I didn't even think about that. But it's okay. I await them. Boof. There it is. And that's it. That's literally the Division's gameplay loop in a sense for the player's own side of things. Is they basically put you in this position where you've cut your coat, right? You've basically cut your teeth on all of these things, and so now you've become this expert at using the systems to the best possible advantage that you could use them to. And then they also add these little explosive elements there that say, hey man, you can shoot this to give yourself an advantage at the end of the day. Is there a countdown? Oh, there was a countdown timer here. Okay, that's why. I kept wondering, like, okay, what am I waiting for at this point? What are you doing? Die. 5, 4, 3. Yes, by all means, climb up right there where I can see you. Good. There we go. There's one more NPC. There we go. Oh, indicators in the Division are just so cool. Like this indicator basically told me that NPC is getting damaged. Just so many cues as the gameplay progresses. And it's really cool at the end of the day. I'm going to stop the video here. We're at 12 minutes. And I'm going to do a part 3 apparently. Because this mission is actually one of those that, there's just so much that the gameplay elements are telling you. And this mission is also quite pivotal as well. And so we'll talk about that aspect in part 3 because it joins the Division 1 and Division 2 together. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you guys' time and audience. And hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.